right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to look at one of the most, well, transformative times in anyone's life, but through a totally different lens. We're talking about adolescence. But forget chaos and confusion for a second. Think of it more like a deliberate act of construction. This is your guide to building a life.
Ever feel like a work in progress? You know that feeling, right? Like you're just constantly under construction, maybe with some scaffolding up and a big sign that says, "Pardon our guest." Well, turns out that's not just a feeling. It's literally what's happening inside your brain and your body during these years.
So, here's the big idea we're exploring today. Adolescence isn't chaos. It's construction. It's a total shift in perspective, right? Instead of seeing these years as some messy, confusing storm you just have to get through, what if we see them as the most important building project of your entire life? This is when you're laying the foundation for the adult you are becoming. So, to guide us through this, we've got a bit of an architectural plan. First, we'll look at the biological blueprint, then the psychological framework. After that, we'll check out how to navigate the social landscape, and finally, we'll open up your construction toolkit. Okay, first up, the biological blueprint. You know, every great building has to start with a solid plan, right? Well, for us, during adolescence, that blueprint is biological. These are the changes that are, well, non-negotiable. They're the foundation that everything else gets built on. And the main construction site for this whole project? It's right here, your prefrontal cortex. Seriously, think of this as your brain's control center. And right now, it is under heavy renovation. And get this, it's not going to be fully finished until you're in your mid-20s. This explains so much, doesn't it? It's why you might know something is a bad idea, but you kind of do it anyway. The wiring for impulse control, yeah, it's still being installed.
So what exactly does this renovation look like? Well, you're not just getting some new paint on the walls. We're talking major system upgrades. Stuff like abstract thinking, actually planning for the future, and getting better at assessing risk. All of these absolutely crucial skills are being downloaded and fine-tuned during this time. It's a massive software update for your brain.
And of course, we can't talk about the biological blueprint without talking about the primary architects on site. Hormones. Yep, estrogen and testosterone. You can think of them as the project managers. They're driving all the physical development, sexual maturation, and yep, they're influencing your mood and behavior too. They are one powerful and, let's be honest, sometimes pretty unpredictable construction crew.
All right, so the foundation is poured. Now let's move inside. This is where we start designing the psychological framework. This is all about the interior of the self, you know? The stuff like shaping your identity, your emotions, and your whole sense of who you are.
And right at the heart of all this interior work is this huge struggle, this tension. On one hand, you have this incredibly powerful drive for autonomy. You just want to be independent and make your own choices. But on the other hand, you still really need that security and safety from your family. It's this constant push and pull, you know, let me go versus don't let me go. And this whole struggle, it's all in service of one massive central question. Who am I? Seriously, everything you're doing, the friends you choose, the music you're obsessed with, the boundaries you push, it's all part of this huge project to figure out who you are, separate from your family, separate from your childhood. So what's the emotional landscape look like while all this is going on? Well, it's a mix. It's not just one thing. It's confusion, it's anxiety, but it's also this amazing optimism and even a bit of rebellion. You can feel totally on top of the world one minute and completely overwhelmed the next. And guess what? This wild emotional cocktail is a totally normal part of the whole construction process. Okay, so no building just exists on its own, right? It's part of a neighborhood. So let's zoom out a bit and see how your personal construction project fits into the wider social landscape. You know, your friends, your family, the culture you're in. And a huge part of this is how your relationship with your parents evolves. I mean, it's a whole journey. It starts with dependence, then it moves into this negotiation phase where you're testing boundaries. And the goal really is to land in a place of partnership, more of an equal adult relationship. It's like the whole family structure is getting a renovation too. And here's a really key idea. Your environment provides the scaffolding. Your social world, your friends, your school, even your online communities, all of that acts like the scaffolding around your building. It's the temporary structure that provides support, and yes, sometimes pressure, that you need to build yourself up. And that scaffolding is made up of all sorts of things, right? Friendships suddenly become incredibly deep and important. You start getting interested in romantic relationships. And of course, there's the huge influence of peer pressure, the role models you look up to, and the massive, massive impact of social media. All of these things are shaping the final design.
So you've got the blueprint, you've got the framework, and you understand the landscape. What now? Well, this last part is your construction toolkit. We're talking practical, hands-on tools and strategies to help you manage this whole complex project. First up, these are the tools for you, for your own personal tool belt. Honestly, the most important one is just understanding what's going on. Knowing your brain is literally under construction. But beyond that, things like creative outlets, art, music, writing, developing problem-solving skills, and just focusing on the basics like sleep, nutrition, and exercise, they're all absolutely essential for keeping the project on track.
Okay, and what about for the family, the on-site support crew? Here are some key tools. It's all about finding that balance between support and freedom. Creating space for open, non-judgmental talks is huge, and just acknowledging that the mood swings are temporary. Oh, and setting clear, reasonable boundaries, super important. And finally, let's zoom out one more time to the community, because everyone has a role to play here. Things like school awareness programs, creating safe spaces for discussion, making sure there are positive, accessible role models out there, all of these things help build a better support structure for everyone. Look, if there's one piece of golden advice to take away from all this, it's what you see right here. You have to accept that this stage involves a lot of confusion and experimentation, and that is a totally natural part of the journey. It is not about getting everything right the first time. The mistakes, the weird phases, they aren't failures. They're actually part of the process. And that really brings us to the main point of all this. The goal isn't to build some perfect, shiny building by the time you're 18. No way. The goal is to build a strong foundation, something solid, durable, and authentic that you can then continue to build on for the rest of your life. So let's leave it on this really powerful thought. Adolescence is a journey of self-discovery. It's not a race to be perfect. It's really about giving yourself permission to be a work in progress, to learn from your mistakes, and to grow at your own pace. So, with that strong foundation in place, the only question left, and it's the most exciting one of all really, is what will you build next?